Okay, let's just have a quick recap of what was done last time, and I'd like one of you to say the question again. Now, can we see what's on the board at the moment? Can we see what's in here? So in here, the question was there's one square, and we assemble 4 of them to make a bigger square. Now this one has no gaps, right? But in here, so the square has no gaps. Now, there's a triangle, and we assemble them in such a way that we make a bigger triangle, but in the middle there's a gap that is a triangle. Now, what was the question that I was asking you then, based on those examples? What was the question that I was asking you?
Shapes, going into all the shapes.
Okay, but what was the shape that I told you to do?
Pentagons and hexagons.
Thank you. So the homework was that a pentagon, how many pentagons would you assemble a bigger pentagon? Or how many hexagons would you assemble a bigger hexagon? Let me just show you what your classmates have done. Right? Ready? Okay. Let's start. Okay, so the first one is this. So here it's very interesting. That's a pentagon here, pentagon, pentagon. But then you have to make this gap here, yeah, to create a pentagon. Yeah, so a bigger pentagon. So it's not, so here you have this, they are joined together by a line. But in here you have to join it with a point, right? To make the shape. So it's not entirely possible to do it just by connecting it with a line. And here it's a hexagon. There has to be every part in the square, every part of the bigger square, the smaller has to be composed of smaller squares. So in here, the hexagon, you cannot really do a full hexagon, right? The only thing, my comments in this drawing and the previous one was each pentagon has to be exact. But thank you for sending that. Now that one is just say, I don't think it's possible, but it's tough to really do it. Now here, this is interesting because each of this pentagon has to be the same shape. So this is more accurate than what I did or anyone who has submitted homework. So here, no other pentagon is possible. Yes, connecting to a line. Thank you for that. Now we have here another one. This is from one of your classmates. Now this is interesting. It really, when I saw it, oh, she did it. But actually I look at it and it's not quite there. Because each of this has to have the same size, right? And this one has to be straight in here. But it looks very believable when you look at it at first. But thank you. Yeah, you cannot make a pentagonal shape with more pentagons. And the same true with hexagons. Now another example is from a game, right? So your classmate was just showing me, look, you cannot do it. And here's another example.
Was that the one on CBBS?
What game is this?
Catan.
I see. Good, so you cannot do it. You need to have at least 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, it's not possible to assemble one pentagon, assemble it in such a way that you combine many small pentagons into a bigger pentagon, and it's the same with hexagon. Now, what is the difference between being told that it does not work and to have tried it and discover that it doesn't work? What's the difference? So the major difference is of and the old type of learning and the new type of learning. So in when you were young, you just mainly being told what to do, and then you accept it. But in here, you have to try it out, and that's also a big difference between our civilization and the previous civilization. Like during Egyptian times or even medieval times, most people are just being told what to do and they believe it. When did it start? Yeah. What the civilization really started the idea of okay, let me try it and I'll discover. What civilization did it start?
Greeks.
It started a little bit in the Greeks, yes, but then it got lost. And then the next civilization, really, in history, the next point in history is the Renaissance. And our modern world is really this is based on the idea that we try and discover, that we just don't believe anybody. So in a way, each one of us are trying to be modern people. So when we do this exercises, when we do this homework, it's not just being done out of nothing. It's for you to try and discover rather than being told. And that's really a hallmark of a modern person, is to try it for yourself. Although we cannot try everything, you can choose a field that you can try and discover things, because there's a lot to learn about the world. Okay, thank you. And because the pentagons cannot be assembled in such a way to create bigger pentagons, or hexagons cannot be assembled to create bigger hexagons, that leaves the square. Only the square as a figure can do it. Now, is there any other polygon that hasn't been discovered that could do the same as the square? Maybe not, maybe, but that makes square a very important figure. And it's the same thing with triangles, right? You can assemble it to a bigger triangle with an inverted triangle in the middle. And that makes triangles special too. And if you really observe around you, most buildings and most architectures are always in the shape of squares and triangles. And if it doesn't look like a square or a triangle, the effect would be, wow, that's amazing. It becomes very unique. So name a figure around the world that involves not that has an architecture that doesn't involve squares or triangles or rectangles. Can somebody name an architecture?
Roman Colosseums.
Yes, yeah, that could be. Yes, the mosque top are quite special, but the three basic structures are essentially square, triangle, and circles. The rest is just a combination of them. That's why even in maths they are quite special.